We call it being polite. We call it having tact, sparing someone's feelings. Now, I'm not talking about trying to make someone feel bad, but I am talking about trying to make people understand that they may be misunderstanding or completely unaware of something that actually is. Now, earlier in the week when I talked about the CO2 concentrations in the atmosphere, and I got kind of wound up. And the reason for that emotion was because it's kind of a scary thing. And how important is it? I'm going to be long gone when the oceans seriously begin to rise. They're not going to rise gradually, a little at a time. Why don't you look up something called a pulse? And the pulse is going to be the true tragedy of what we're experiencing right now because we have allowed the CO2 concentrations in the atmosphere to rise so high. So should I allow you to keep your blinders on? Should I try to encourage you to look for what actually is, whether it's comfortable or not? And should I disrespect, your beliefs? Belief systems are fine. Have them. That's great. But when belief systems run up against facts, things that are undeniably true, you have to reassess what it is you believe. Now, I'm not talking about giving up everything that you hold dear. I am talking about refining what it is you think is so. Okay, there's a huge difference between stop believing in whatever it is you hold to your heart and re-examine what it is you believe, compare it to what actually is, and maybe you'll even have a more significant relationship with whatever it is you held dear before that. Understand, I'm not trying to undermine anybody's happiness. I am trying to ensure that you are prepared for the world that is coming at you like a pulse. And I apologize for my generation for not having taken care of this. It is unbelievable, the resistance to evidence that some people will maintain simply to preserve their power. It's an embarrassment. It's almost being a traitor to humanity. When you know the truth, you understand it, you get the science, and yet, for personal gain, you tell people it just isn't so. You have the tools to determine what is and is not true to a very significant degree, not completely, because we don't know the absolute truth. But about the worst thing we can do is to plug our ears and cover our eyes and say, la, 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 yeah, I can't hear you, just because we don't like what's being said. Okay, I want you guys to make the world a better place, but I want you to make the world a better place based upon what the world actually is, not what you wish it was. I wish that people behaved in a moral, ethical, responsible way. Everything would solve itself. We would be so rich individually and collectively if we only did the right thing, if we were trying to make the world a better place. And yet some people maintain their short-term visions of, there's enough for me and enough for you, but not enough for both of us. And so one of us has to go, and I'm going to make sure it's not me. Well, all that does is ensure that we all lose. Find solutions that benefit everyone. Feed two birds with one seed. Make the world a better place. All right, it's Friday, and I already told you what I want you to do. And it should be what you want to do too. Got it? I love you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday.